This is Scott Spratt from ProFootballFocus.com, and this is another Fantasy Slant. In 2013, there were several wide receivers taken near the top of the draft that were intriguing for fantasy owners. They included Tavon Austin of the St. Louis Rams, DeAndre Hopkins of the Houston Texans, Cordarrelle Patterson of the Minnesota Vikings, all of whom went in the first round. Fantasy breakout star Keenan Allen, who was the most productive wide receiver in the class, he probably would have joined them in the first round as well, except he had suffered a PCL strain that made him unable to work out at the combine and dropped him into the third round of the draft. One player that's been a little bit overlooked is a player that was actually taken 2 picks before Allen in the third round, and that's Cowboys wide receiver Terrance Williams. Now, we know all about the wide receiver situation on the Cowboys. Dez Bryant dominates the headlines as he dominates many fantasy leagues. He's a perennial top 5 wide receiver and should continue to be so this season. However, there are increasing opportunities for Williams now that several other players are on the decline and out of town. Miles Austin, who for years was an effective player for the team when he wasn't dealing with hamstring injuries, he's now out of the picture as he's trying to revive his career on the Browns. Meanwhile, Jason Witten is already in his early 30s, and he had his fewest receptions and yards in a season since 2006 last season. Meanwhile, Williams was quietly a very productive player for the Cowboys last season. He was in fact the third most productive rookie receiver in the game behind Keenan Allen and Cordarrelle Patterson. He had 736 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns, which is pretty close to the rookie season that Josh Gordon had the season before for the Browns. Now, it's not fair to compare really any player to Josh Gordon considering the kind of breakout success he had last year for the Browns in only 14 games. But I think Williams is primed for a top 30 wide receiver season and should be drafted as such in redraft leagues. In dynasty formats, Williams is even more valuable as teams will continue to use Dez Bryant with their primary cornerbacks to draw away the coverage from Williams, who can be very effective in that second wide receiver role in the Cowboys. Of course, Tony Romo's health is going to be critical for Williams to have that kind of success, but the early reports are good that he hasn't experienced any setbacks from his back surgery in the offseason and should recover in time to begin the 2014 season healthy. Deeper Dynasty League players should also look at rookie receiver Devin Street, who at 6'3", 189 pounds out of Pittsburgh, could be a good addition to this team and productive player for the Cowboys down the line. He was a round 5 pick and has good hands and good height for a receiver and could be a good player for the team down the line. This is Scott Spratt from Pro Football Focus, and this was another Fantasy Slant.